Most of you by now know that I work at VIP Mortgage. A lot of you may not know why or how I got there. For us as LOs, we have a lot of options, and for me, VIP Mortgage was the perfect fit, the best place, in my opinion, to work. So if you have any questions about VIP Mortgage as an LO, or if you are a consumer and you're looking for a mortgage, you can reach out to me on social media, or you can reach out to anybody else that you may know at VIP Mortgage. And our website is vipmtginc.com. All right, welcome everybody to Real Talk with Ryan Madrid. First of all, I'd like to thank VIP Mortgage, as always, for letting us have this beautiful room that is ever evolving. And want to thank my nephew Chey over here, who is our podcast engineer. And then my sister over here, who is the podcast producer. Right, Trish?
That's right.
Okay, I said it right. All right, so this podcast is not just for real estate people. Not just mortgage or realtors or title people. This is a podcast for entrepreneurs, people doing cool things in Arizona or wherever, but just people with cool stories. But at the end of the day, we are a mortgage company that's hosting this. So, and I am a mortgage banker. So, if you have anybody out there, this is a shameless plug. Anybody out there that you do know that needs a refinance, or you have clients that are purchasing a home, you know where to go, you can contact me on social media, or if you know me well, you can email me or text me. So, got that done. So moving forward, that's the first time we've done that, everybody. So we're going to try it from here on out because we need business to keep this thing running. So today, a very special guest. I've said that a few times, but this one's really good because this person is one of the first friends I kind of think I was kind of rolling with when I got in the business in 2013. So I've seen the kind of roller coaster ride of this special individual. And when we talked originally about being on here, you know, the first thing that you said was really cool about why you wanted to come. And it's the exact reason why we kind of created that. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But so everybody, we have Chey Castro here. He is a realtor that works primarily in the North Scottsdale area. Heavy DC ranch guy. Big DC ranch guy. Yeah. So welcome, Chey. Thanks for coming.
Dude, thank you for having me, buddy.
Absolutely.
Very grateful to be here.
So Chey is from, I'm going to do this a little bit for you because it goes too long for other people. So Chey is from here, grew up in Ahwatukee.
Yep.
You went to what high school?
Mountain Point
With our friend Aaron Payne.
Absolutely.
So Chey is good buddies with Aaron Payne of VIP Mortgage. And then you went to and got an accounting degree at Arizona State University?
Finance degree at ASU. Yep.
Okay. So a lot of people don't know about your next step, though, which I think is really cool. It kind of separates you from other people. Is from ASU you went to where?
Notre Dame, baby.
Notre Dame. That was a big deal. You don't hear about that a lot from people coming from like Arizona, like your bachelor's, and then you go to get your master's at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, that's not very rare.
It's not rare. it's rare. And let me tell you, like I thought I was so smart at ASU because you know I graduated with a 4.0. Like I was a super nerd and worked hard.
Yeah.
But then I thought I was smart, and then I go to Notre Dame and I realized very humbling.
You're like you're like just middle of the road, or
We'll say that.
Were most of the kids there that were in that program with you people that went to Notre Dame for their undergrad?
A lot of them went to Notre Dame or other kind of elite schools
in that area.
Undergrad, and you know, this is 1997 to 2002. So back then it was a little different. So it was humbling. It was great though. It was a great experience. My mom and my dad are both accounting majors.
Okay.
At ASU, and they're both CPAs. So that's kind of why I did that.
Okay.
That was kind of my.
So how did you get into how did that happen where you're like I'm gonna go to Notre Dame and I think I'm gonna be able to get in there?
Well, yeah. So like I said, you know, it was drilled in me to be accounting, do finance. Like what you know, when you're at ASU, what's your major? And my mom's like, do accounting, do finance. So I did that. And then at the time, Ernst & Young had a program where they were trying to take non-accounting majors and get them into the field of accounting and audit. So it was a special program through them, and it was just amazing.
So they helped you get in there?
They helped me get in there, and it was just an amazing opportunity that I jumped on, and
little culture shock moving from Tempe to South Bend.
South Bend, baby. It was the only time I was away from Arizona, and I couldn't wait to get back. So.
Really?
Yeah. So.
As soon as football season was over with, you were like, let's get back to Arizona, because that's like that's the most exciting thing about Notre Dame, really, right? Is football.
Well, I tell you what, man, it's such a beautiful, like South Bend is all about Notre Dame. I mean, it's just like tailgating there. It's an experience. I would walk around campus and just be like, what am I doing here? Like, this is amazing. Like, it's just a great experience. And, it was a great learning experience. I really look back at that time as just, how much I got to learn and meet some incredible people that are doing amazing things now.
I bet. Yeah. So I'm sure there's people that are just murdering. They're probably retired, actually.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you get done with Notre Dame. So you're there for 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years, Notre Dame.
2 years. And then you come back, and you go right to work with Ernst & Young?
Ernst & Young, yeah. And I did 3 years at Ernst & Young as an auditor. And it was crazy. I was working 80 to 100 hours a week during busy season.
Right.
And I was making $39,000 a year. And if you break it down per hour, I was making under a minimum wage.
Wow.
And this is a time, 2003 and 4, when the real estate market was on fire. And I had a lot of friends, like Aaron Payne is a good example. People I went to high school with that are making tons of money in real estate and mortgages. And I'm working my butt off in accounting and not making it. So it was kind of a hard thing to do, but it was.
Well, I mean, that kind of, it led you to it happened twice for you because.
Yeah.
So because you left Ernst & Young to go right to DMB?
I did.
Okay. So how did that happen?
So one of the cool things I wanted to share this is that when I was at ASU, I got to be an intern at DMB. At DMB Associates. And this was in the late 90s, and DC Ranch and Silverleaf were all just dirt back then.
Yep.
And I was one of the 4. It was the first time they had interns, and I don't know how I got hired. I was so lucky to get hired. And the 3 other guys were like just kind of friends and family of DMB, and just great people. One guy, his name is Boots Dunlap. Like Dunlap Boulevard was named after him. Like,
wow.
There's family, so just great family people, and it was just a great experience because I got to expose to things that I never was exposed to before.
Right.
Drew, Mark, and Bennett are just incredible people. And as an intern, I got to have a lot of FaceTime with them in their office and like talk to them. And then as an intern, I got to fly on their private jet a couple times to go to their properties, Glenwild in Park City, Utah, and Lahontan in Lake Tahoe. And we had to give a presentation at the end of the internship, and they talk about the highlights. And mine was the private jet, obviously. But the reason is because Drew Brown, Mark Sklar, Bennett Donuts are in the airplane. And I could ask them questions, and they couldn't leave. Like, they were there the whole time. So I look back, and they probably hated me. They're like, who is this guy? Because I look back, and I was thinking about this last night. There was times when I would go into Drew Brown's office and, like, start asking him questions, and then his secretary would come in. And now I look back, I'm like, they're like, beat it, nerd. Like, get out of here. So
that's awesome.
They are the nicest guys.
They are. That's the thing. They are
they really
so freaking amazing. They are the nicest guys. They just answered every question I had, made me feel, and treated me like I was special, and like I just never was just.
So for everybody who doesn't know who they are, they're the guys that own DMB who built. For I guess all our listeners outside of
all of them.
None of them, nobody. But Silverleaf, So let's go through it. So Silverleaf, obviously, DC Ranch, Verado, the property in Salt Lake or Park City,
Park City, Utah, Glenwild in Park City, Utah, Kukuliula in Hawaii, Lahontan in Lake Tahoe.
The
Kukui'ula. Trey did some work over there for them.
Dude, that place is supposed to be insane.
Yeah, he did some video production work.
That place is absolute. Eric, someone just posted something about it. Brent Harrington on Facebook, and a 10-year anniversary of the clubhouse, and that place is just absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing about DMB back when I was intern and when I worked with them, they're all about legacy. That was one of their core competencies, legacy, and they wanted to leave a legacy, and obviously they have.
Yeah,
those properties are timeless, and
and they just keep doing big things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Forest Highlands Meadow Course too.
Forest Highlands, absolutely.
That's right.
A lot of
So they did the Meadow Course, but they didn't do. Were they like the?
They were not part of Canyon.
Okay, so but they weren't the developer of. So they just did the golf course.
They came in and did basically the second phase.
Oh, gotcha.
Forest Highlands. So Canyon had been developed by a local, like Flagstaff developer.
Okay.
And it had already been turned over, I believe, to the HOA. So
Gotcha.
Forest Highlands community Is that correct, Chey?
Yeah.
Chey, does that sound right?
Yeah, and I just thought of something. Can I share something? I just thought of right now while you're talking is like, I remember being an intern. I was thinking about being an intern, and I got to drive around DC Ranch when it was just dirt, like DC Ranch Country Club and the golf course when it was getting built. And at the time, it was $200,000 to become a member. Mm-hmm. And I'm an intern. I'm 20 years old, eating noodle soup, like broken egg and beet. And I remember saying, like, I want to be a member here someday. Like, I remember saying that, and I haven't thought about that forever. But you know, there was no way I could ever imagine it happening. But you know, I've been a member there 10 years, and it's like, well, that's a God thing. I wanted. You know, I'm just thinking about now how good God is.
Well,
so,
$200,000 back then, which is insane because you know that. It's dropped.
That was 1999.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's close to that now, right? But
Yeah,
for a long time, it went back down real.
I have friends that are members that got their membership for $30,000.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the roller coaster. Talk about roller coaster.
the roller coaster.
That's the roller coaster.
All right. So you leave Ernst & Young, you go over to DMB. So
Okay,
you're like, I'm done with all these hours over here. I'm going to go over to DMB. And did you just approach one of those guys and be like, hey, dude, I want a job?
Yeah. So luckily I was real close with I was in a finance department as an intern. I stayed in contact with them, with CFO and all them. And a senior financial analyst job came up. I interviewed for it. There was over 100 people that interviewed for it, and I was lucky enough to get selected. And so I did that for like 2.5, 3 years, and it was just an amazing experience. I helped on the pro forma for Silverleaf. And again, it was all dirt. And back then in 2004 and 5, you think the real estate market's crazy now. Back then it was on fire. And they had auctions for their dirt. They would sell an acre of dirt in Silverleaf for $1 million.
Jeez.
And if you were lucky enough to get selected in the auction, you buy that dirt. And people
you have
and that was
48 hours to come up with the dough.
I remember the financing back then was no down, stated income. People were just killing it. People would, under escrow, they would buy the land for $1 million and sell it for $1.5 million, you know, while it was under escrow.
Right.
Like, it was just crazy times back then. So and then as a financial analyst, I would always have to meet with the sales team, Jeff Beardsley, the head of sales there. And he was just an awesome guy. And I would go over absorption rates. Andrew's father and Debbie's wife. Yeah. Just great people. And, you know, I got to meet with them all the time and go, and every time I'd go into the sales office and like go over, you know, I was a finance guy to talk about their budget and their expenses, and you're spending too much here and whatever, and what's your absorption rates. And they were just so nice though. They were always smiling, having fun. Like every day it seemed like different for them because they were dealing with different clients.
Yeah.
And I was like also saw what their commission checks were because we were signing off on the corporate office. So
this is the story that I know.
Yeah, it is the story you know. That I was like, what am I doing here? I was doing very well. I was, making very good salaries with the bonus over 6 figures. Like living the finance dream. Like that, people that get at Ernst & Young and do the finance and accounting, that's what your role is. And nice salary, nice titles. It was all about titles. Like I couldn't wait. And so, what crazy happened, that kind of planted a seed of seeing that. And then I just got this kind of thing of like my boss was a finance director and then the CFO, and they were both young guys. And I was thinking, dang, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get promoted much in this. Yeah. And an opportunity came at Silverleaf that was a Silverleaf sales assistant. And I saw that and it just hit me. I was like, I want to do that. And the salary was $39,000. So 39 is an important number in my life. And I'll tell you why later. So like age and everything. So I went from making a lot to a huge pay cut. And, it's funny, I thought about the interview process. I had taken real estate classes through DMB. They offered them, but I never did the test. And so I did the classes, and a year later, this opportunity comes up. And it required a real estate license. And so I went to the interview, and Jeff Beardsley, he looks at me, he's like, what are you doing here? Like, you're way overqualified. Why are you going to be a sales assistant? And 2, why the heck would we hire someone with zero sales experience to work at the #1 sales office in Arizona, which it was at the time. Yeah. And guys were killing it. And I said, well, it's like teaching someone how to play golf. You want someone who's never played before, teach them the right way. Right. And he loved that. And so I was a sponge, man. For 2 years, I got the job. Well, I had 2 weeks to get my license, so I had to take study for the test again.
Did you pass it the first time?
Oh yeah. I went nerd mode, of course I did. And so anyway, I did that for 2 years, man. It was an amazing experience. I was like getting an MBA in sales. I absorbed everything and just took it all in and just saw how they acted. And that was kind of what led into real estate. And I'll just kind of go quickly about how it all happened is then 2008 came, 2008 and 9, when real estate just crashed, right? And, the goal was to become an agent with Silverleaf, but they kind of, I haven't shared this with money, but I was going to share it with you. Like, I basically got fired. Like, they let me go because there was no opportunities. Real estate was tightening up and all that stuff. So I kind of was like, what am I going to do? I was kind of lost, man. And, I tried different opportunities, thinking of getting back into finance and accounting. And long story short, I had met Frank Azami. He had brought a client to Silverleaf. And at this point, I was like taking clients out and doing that stuff. Awesome dude, just an amazing person. And he had me over come over to Sotheby's Private Client Group. And that's when I first joined Private Client Group. And so now from then, 2018 till now, this journey, I'll just kind of
let's back up real quick.
2008.
Yeah, 2008.
Let's go back up a little bit because we met in 2013.
Yes.
And you were with Frank at that time.
Yep.
And you were doing good though. Like 13, it had already turned. So you were kind of like you were kind of a big deal in that little area. I mean,
well, you reminded me how I met you. You invited me to that event.
That's right. So we had Luis Ortiz that event. Trish was actually the photographer.
And
Trey was
there
too.
No way.
Yeah. Guys, so
I
that
probably
was
have pictures of you.
2014 maybe. But that's kind of when we really started hanging out.
Yeah.
And but you were doing really well at that time. What in our minds, I guess, you were doing like $30 million a year.
More than that.
I
did my best numbers, like still to date, was still on 13 and 14. Like I crushed it. And I was basically, at that time I was on my own. So like over the time I went and I can explain where I've gone. But I think 2013 was a great year, 2013, 14, and like success wise, and making way more money than I could even imagine. Like just absolutely crushing. Like I never thought I'd be making millions of dollars. Like,
you were killing it.
Yeah, and life happened and a lot of stuff happened. And one cool thing.
Don't blame it all on me though.
Yeah, hanging out with you, but I had to. It was just a great year, and like I was what do you call it? 40 under 40, the Phoenix Business Journal.
Yeah,
like it was a big deal. Phoenix Business Journal is
that's a good one. That's the good one.
That's a good one, and it was just cool stuff was happening.
But we were going out a lot, dude. We had like fun and
absolutely.
And, I was single, you were single.
Yeah.
Collar was single.
Yeah.
A lot of our friends were.
Yeah.
And so we were spending our money and just on social stuff and
social
going. And there was
stuff.
always something to do every night. So it was easy, and
it was fun, bro.
Yeah, it was a great time. And during those times, I saw you get engaged once. I saw you get engaged again. I saw you get divorced, and you went down like our focus. Maybe yours worse than mine. You just lost focus at times, right?
Absolutely.
So it was definitely like an up and down dip, right? And which is kind of the cool part of like kind of just getting into where we're at now. It's like, after your last kind of dip, well, actually, you know what? You have a cool story about your dad that I think you should probably tell.
Absolutely. And
before we go there.
Yeah, and I will go there, and I got a cool story I can share about that stuff, and fun times, and I'm here to kind of share a testimony.
Yeah,
because
dude.
I'll say this and I'll go back to partying was fun. Partying is fun, and it was a part of my life, and had a huge impact on my father's life too. And this is kind of what I wanted to share today. Mostly is like about my dad. Is, my dad was my hero, and I have a lot of in common with my father. He's the youngest of three. I have two older brothers. He had two older siblings. He's the only one who went to college, and he met my mom their freshman year at ASU. He came from a Mexican Catholic kind of family, and she came from a Jewish family, complete opposites. And he got his accounting degree, got his CPA, and started his own business and became very successful and just did very, very well. And we had a beautiful house in Ahwatukee. He was a great father, soccer coach. Like, one thing I want to say about you, bro, like, you're a great dad, and I love that about you, bro. I give you a lot of respect, man. Like, you give your kids unconditional love, and you're proud of them, and like a father is like, that's what a father is. Like, that is so important, and that is, I'm real proud of you about.
I appreciate that, dude.
Absolutely, man. So, my dad was all that. Whatever he did, he was going to be the best at. And talk about like lost opportunities in the 70s. My dad. Let me start with my grandfather. My grandfather, from Nogales, 8th grade education, built a house in Nogales, turned a bus into a house on top of a hill, and then below it built 10 houses with his own hands. And with those 10 houses, he rented them out. That's how he made his money. Wow. So real estate was always on his mind. So my father bought a lot of land. In the early 70s, where the Chandler Mall is, my dad owned acres and acres of land. Where
Wow.
Levine is, my dad owned so much land.
So he was just buying land all the time.
And for super cheap back in the early
Right.
70s. I mean, it was so cheap. It was nothing.
Smart.
And you know, and I look back, and if what I'm about to tell you didn't happen, you know, my life would be completely different. I'd have a family office. Instead of being a realtor, I'd be the president of the Castro family office.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be.
You'd be working the family money.
Absolutely. And
yeah.
you know, God had different plans, but you know, so it can't. But anyway, so just living the life, like living the dream life. But then, like me, well, not like me. When he was 39, so two things happened at 39: my life and his life, completely different. So at 39, he was doing everything right until then, and he said, "Man, I never really got to party. Like, my mom was his first girlfriend, basically. He was, you know, a nerd in high school and all that stuff." And now he's rich and he has all this stuff, so he wants to go out and party and he wants to do this but like me, he started hanging out with the wrong people and the wrong. No, not you, bro. I mean, I'm not saying you. I haven't seen him. No, bro. I love you, man. Not you.
That's not. We're not running parallel lives here. Is what you did not.
No,
your dad's was a little bit extreme
people,
for you.
Awful people like that were just totally using them and you know all that stuff and. You know, I've had similar experiences. Like when I would go to Old Town and I'd have a table full of people, and then the bill would come and everyone's out, and I'd pay. You know, like that was my life for a long time. So he had that, and thank God that I never had someone around like this around my life. But someone, you know, obviously they were doing the drugs and partying and stuff, but someone gave him heroin. And bro, I tell you what, like heroin, anyone that's addicted to heroin, like it sucks your soul. It steals your soul away. And my dad dealt with it for 10 years, and it just completely
decimated you guys.
It ruined us. I mean, he ruined it. It ruined our whole family. Like I was in middle school and high school, and it was just we had this big house, and we had like no electricity in it, no hot water, like just all this stuff that was going on.
Wow.
As a kid, I had no idea. Like I had to go to my best friend's house to take a shower before school. Like
jeez, I didn't know that. I didn't know this actually to the depth.
No, she you know, she was a stay-at-home mom. I have two older brothers. They were 8 and 7 years older than me, and then me. And so she never worked, but she was an accountant, was a CPA. So she had to go back to work, and she left them. And you know, a lot of like what my pain was what my father did stuff that I would say I used to say it was unforgivable.
Yeah.
I mean, the way what he did to me, to my brothers, to my mom. I mean, just absolutely. And heroin took his soul away, so he was just a terrible person, and I dealt with that. And
I don't want to say. I'm sorry to stop you.
Yeah.
So you said for 10 years. So he got off, and he it stopped using.
Well,
it?
let me.
Okay.
This because this all ties into my testimony. So, you know, I think I told you my mom was Jewish, my dad.
Yeah.
So like when Christmas came, it was a crazy time because we'd have Hanukkah gifts, and my mom's family was like awesome, the Christmas tree and Christmas lights, and then my birthday is the day after Christmas, so it was always a special time for me. So this one time, I'm at Notre Dame, and it's Christmas time, so I'm back at home, and my dad was supposed to pick me up for Christmas and take me to lunch for my birthday, and he ghosted me, like straight up ghosted me, like he always did. Like it was just at that time it just was regular. Yeah. So he ghosted me, and it was like whatever. And then so January, March, April, May 4th, I'm golfing with my mom. I'm back home golfing with my mom, and my brothers call me, and they're like, "Hey, I'm real tight with my brothers. They're like, we're at mom's house. Or, you know, come hang out. Like come down when you're done golfing." And this is 18 years ago, bro. And I walk in my mom's house, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I walk in, my two older brothers stand up from the couch, they look at me, and they go, "Dad is dead." Like, straight up, Dad is dead. Like, I lost it, bro. Like, I could not believe it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I haven't thought about my dad in months, you know, and I was obviously very angry at him, resentful, very angry, pissed off.
Yeah.
And then now he's gone, and you know, I never got to tell him anything and never got to talk to him, and it's just gone. And any little hope that I had in God, if I believed in God, was completely gone. Like I blame God for it. I'll be honest, I blame God for it, and it ruined me. And so for those since that time, I was doing life on my own, bro, and I was just like
you were always searching, right? I
was always searching, man. And like, God's not real. If God was real, why would He do that? Why would He let my dad die like that? And so much pain and hurt and all this stuff. So it really affected me a lot. And and I'll go to the testimony part. Okay, so just imagine, so those years of the craziness and all the ups and downs and all that stuff was a lot of that, because like if I just thought about my dad, I'd break down, bro. I'd just break down, get super depressed, super sad, and just go into a dark place. And how do you cure that? You go out and party, try to mask it with other things. So that was a lot of the extra. So
find love. Party.
Absolutely, brother. And a lot of the stuff that we kind of mentioned before. And so I November 15th, 2018. I have the date written down. I'm at this ninja installation class. It's like sales, and it's a 4-day class of teaching you how to install a new ninja sales. And the first 2 days are all about mindset. And I'm in there, and there's a couple other agents. It's full of agents, and it's 8 hours, and we have breaks in between. And during one of the breaks, this agent comes to me, and he's like, "Man, this mindset stuff is cool." Like, and I've read a lot of self-help books. I know a lot of stuff. And he goes, "But what my wife and I do? We just read the Bible to our kids every morning, and all the stuff that he's talking about is in there." I'm like, "Okay, dude, that's cool. That's weird." Like, mind you, I've never even read the Bible, never opened it. Like, I had a Bible. Like, my brother's sister gave me a Bible like 10 years prior to that. And I had moved many times, and the Bible always came, but I never opened it. Like, I always had it. So, so he says that, and then during another break, he comes back with another guy. And now I look back, and I look, they were chasing after me, bro. Like, it was beautiful. I'm so thankful for them. And that's what I try to do now, is chase after people that are hurt. And they could see I was hurt. I was at a low point. I had just gotten divorced. Business was down. I hadn't made a sale for months and months, and, like, just stuff and financial stuff and divorce, all that stuff.
They saw, so did they just see, did they just feel it in you? Because they didn't know you, right?
They knew, one guy, this other guy that I'm going to tell you about, he knew me. He knew about my dad, and that something. Oh, okay. Something I was like, me telling you this about my dad, and even on microphone, 5 years ago, I would not even think about doing. No one knew about my dad. I kept that so tight.
I didn't know that, obviously, because I didn't know he was dead. And I've known you for a long time.
Exactly, bro. So, that's how I was. I was so secret. I was just, because it was so much shame and just terribleness. Like, I'm trying to sell multi-million-dollar houses, and my dad's a heroin. Died of heroin. Like, that's not cool. And and the way he died too, he was in a jail cell. He had gotten arrested. He was, the police report says he basically ripped through his freaking arms and bled out in a jail cell. Wow. So he went from a multimillionaire, great life, to dying in a jail cell like that. It's a lot of shame, right? And so he, man, the way he said this, bro, and this is what changed my whole life, and this is why I've been a completely different person since then. He goes, and it wasn't judgy. He wasn't judging me. It wasn't anything. He goes, "Have you ever being born again in this shit?" And I go, "Bro, don't even come at me like that. Like you don't want to, like, you're lucky we're in a room full of people. Like, I used to wrestle in high school. I'd take them down." So he goes, well, he said it really awesome. He goes, "Well, this is how I know it. This is how I see it. Like, this is what I know, basically. This is how I know. When you're born again, you're a baby. And you get a chance to start life over again as a baby. And now your dad is not your dad who gave you birth. Your dad is God. And he's going to love you unconditionally like a dad is supposed to love you. He's going to be there for you like a freaking dad. He's going to be there someone you can talk to. He's going to love you like a dad. He's going to, like, talk to him." And, bro, like, I still get chills about it. Like, and when he said that, just something came through me. And I literally got up and I went to a church and talked to the pastor and asked him, "What the heck does this all mean, dude?"
Really?
Yeah. At Impact Church, Pastor Todd. I go, "What is this? What is this? What just happened?" And he prayed over me and he said, "Will you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior? Like, will you bring him into your life?" And I said, "Absolutely." And I did that, bro. And something changed in me. Like, I can't tell you. My heart changed. And like, I talk to God like I talk to my dad, like, every single day. Like, I talk to him on the way here. I'm just talking, praying is talking to God, and I'm just learning that it's a freaking having a relationship with God. Like, I never had that before. And you can talk to him, and he loves you. He's gonna discipline you like a dad, but it's out of love, bro. It's out of love, and not out of, like, you did this wrong, like a GPS thing. Like, you take a GPS here, like, which I was taking here. Like, you take the wrong way, it's not gonna, like, you dumbass, you went the wrong way. It's like. It's like, no, rerouting. You're good. Like, I still love you. Like, you're good. We're gonna be there. So that changed my whole life, bro. And since then, if I can just tell you, like, my journey. I go to church every Sunday, dude. And for the last 3 years, I haven't missed a Sunday. And I actually averaged going to church twice a weekend. I go to Impact Church is my home church, but every weekend I go to either Gateway Church, CCV, Scottsdale Bible, or Impact. I go to 2 to 3 of them a weekend at different times, and each one is a non-denominational Christian church. Each pastor has something amazing to say that like changes my life and makes me feel good and just brings in positive energy that just I can't describe. Like gives me a sense of joy and purpose and happiness, man.
Yeah,
that I've never ever had.
Way more of the joy and purpose you get from going out to Dakota.
100%. 100%.
Trisha,
since you had a Catholic and Jewish backgrounds, did you not grow up going to mass or synagogue? I
did. My mom, they both tried to have us go, and I was so lost. I mean, I remember going there and not having any connection or even knowing what I was doing. Rules, you gotta abide by these rules. You do this, and I remember being a mass and just completely lost. Like, what is going on right now? I don't even know what's happening. And so,
well, I think that's common. That's why a lot of people are going to the CCVs and the Impact churches and all this, because it's more like a message that a guy it's basically like, don't do bad things to people and be a good person, but there's a story, right? And it's not so just rigid and hard to understand. But what made you pick? This is a good question, because like when you decided, like, okay, I just heard this now. What made you go, okay, I'm going to go to Impact? Because there's just one because it's closest to your house, or what?
No, so my ex-wife, like the most amazing thing she ever did was she made me go to church. Like that was the thing. She made me go to church. And I would sit there, bro, and with my arms crossed, like, this is stupid. I'll judge everyone because people weren't, I was like, I went to mass at Notre Dame, and man, you're dressed up. You're dressed to the nines. Like people are wearing shorts and T-shirts at Impact. I'm like, what is going on? And then I just was like, why are these people with their hands up? Like, I was super judgy. Like, I was that guy. And so for a good year, I was going to Impact Church because of her, and she made me go, which I look back, I'm so grateful that that's the reason God brought her into my life. Yeah. Obviously she was a complete wrong person for me, but that little thing that she did planted that seed. So when I got divorced, there was about 7 months where I stopped going to Impact, because as soon as I got divorced, like, I don't have to go to church anymore. Like I was like, I could go out Sunday fun day. Like I could go back to my old ways and not have to do that and play golf and do that other stuff. So that was like 7 months of that, bro. And then 7 months later, that's when November 15th happened, when he said that, and so I went to Impact Church. That's why I went there. So to even know what's going. And then I tell you what, bro, that next Sunday I went, it was like a completely different church. Like I actually saw it for what it was. That these people have their hand now I'm one of those guys that when the worship goes, I have my eyes closed and my hands up and I'm just feeling it. Or if my eyes are open, I'm reading the words, because they put the words on the screen, and the singers are so freaking passionate. Like they're just so, like, they're called worship leaders. They're not there to entertain you. They're there to lead you to worship. And what that means is, like, you see what they're saying, you see the words, like the words that they write and that they're talking about. It's all about love, forgiveness, grace. I mean, love. God is love. Like that's what love is. And like, I've talked to so many people and just know that God is love and He loves you, and everything good in your life is because of God. And anything bad is, the devil. The devil's very strong too, bro. He is strong and he attacks all the time. Yeah. And I'm just constantly doing my best to just listen to God's word. What's God telling me in a situation? And God is more powerful than the devil, and He's going to take over that. And He's going to, fear is a very, very strong thing, and that's the fear. The devil preys on fear, and he puts that doubt in your mind. And what I love about church, just on Sunday, he said, fear is the assassin of opportunities. And I look back at my life and different opportunities that I was presented with, that God presented me with amazing opportunities, and I let fear take over, and I lost those opportunities. Yeah. Millions of dollars. Yeah.
Fear is the assassin of opportunity. We need to write that down.
That was Impact Church on Sunday.
Okay, so say this Sunday, right? You go to Impact, right? You do say whatever, the 8 a.m.
9 o'clock and 11:15. And it's not mass, bro. It's worship. And
it's worship. We're learning.
I love you, bro. It's so funny.
So, what will you be like? All right, well, I just had lunch. I don't have anything to do. I'm gonna go to CCV now and see what they've got going on for their worship, right? Like, was that what happened?
100%.
Okay.
100%. I like.
Do you ever go Saturday night?
Yes.
You're like, okay.
I go Saturday night. They even have Thursdays. A couple Thursdays at Highlands and Gateway have Thursdays. And I just go. And dude, you walk in, everyone is super welcome. Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
So you're going by yourself.
Oh, totally.
Like you were taking a friend with you.
I go by myself, man. And I will say this: my mom, who's Jewish, very strict Jewish family growing up. Like, I have family members that are like fled the
Orthodox.
Nazis to come to the Holocaust, like all crazy stuff. They live in Ocotillo. Her and my 90-year-old stepfather, they drive from Ocotillo all the way to Impact Church as much as, not every Sunday, as much as they can to come to church with me on Sunday.
Oh, that's awesome.
And bro, so that's when I go with them. And then like there was this one time I was at church and he was talking about forgiveness and if, if they call it hurts, habits, and hangups is kind of their thing. And he was talking about that. That was their Celebrate Recovery. That's their big tagline. And he was talking about that stuff. And my mom, I look over and she's crying. She's just crying. I'm like, whoa. And so I take her to lunch afterwards. I'm like, Mom, why are you crying so much? She goes, I just thought, like, if your dad had a chance to listen to this message,
right,
he would have stopped, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me cry, dude, because it's like, he would have stopped his wicked ways, and he would have changed. And you know, and dude, at 39, bro, I'll be honest, like that. After I got divorced, like I was on a wicked path again, and it could have gone bad, and drugs and partying and all that stuff. It was right back at it. Like I got right back into it, and I probably should be dead, dude. Like many times over.
You did not get that heavy into that. Don't go too hardcore on yourself, because.
Oh, I
don't know.
Can I share a story? Can I share a Miami story?
Okay. I wasn't there, so this is all pertaining to shaded stuff after him and I. We're not
it's
hanging
not
out
you,
this
bro.
time.
No, bro. You
After his divorce, I've not seen him.
No, this is before. This was 2013. Back to 2013.
Okay.
So, 2013. I made over $1 million net, commissions, all that good stuff, and I was doing very well and making way too much money. And then, of course, a buddy was like, that lived in Miami. He was a GM at the Standard Hotel. He started a clothing company. He's like, hey, bro, why don't you come invest? And of course, sure. How many stupid things I invested in, bro, you have no idea. Nightclubs, all that dumb stuff. And so I did that. And so he got me a suite at his hotel, at the Standard Hotel, which is amazing. Like, it has this pool that you either have to stay at the hotel or have a membership, like a country club membership for the pool. And these people with yachts would just pull in and just like jump in the pool, have lunch, and then take off on their yachts. It was just a whole different life. And it was during Art Basel was the whole that week, and so 3 nights, 3 days.
The
art thing,
festival,
and it was just so much wealth, so many amazing people, and
filthy rich people come in to buy like $30 million paintings.
Absolutely, bro. And some of the people that I saw and got to hang out with and party with, and it was amazing. I mean, he was very well connected because the GM at the Standard Hotel, he knows a lot of people, so we're at all the nice nightclubs, and basically 3 nights of not sleeping, of just partying, bro. Like, I mean, it was fun. Like, it was fun. And so, and the reason I'm going to tell this story, and I haven't, like, I buried this story, bro. I haven't thought about this story.
I've never heard this.
So part of my new life, I have a Bible study. I do a Bible study. I have it tonight, every Wednesday night. 10 dudes, awesome people. You might know some of the guys. I won't mention their names, but like, one of them kills it in commercial real estate, like one of the top producers. I just love his life, like the way he's such a godly person. One guy, his dad is a Hall of Fame pitcher, like just awesome, tall, good looking. Wife is gorgeous. Like, you look at them and like their lives are perfect.
Right.
But then you get in a Bible study and you talk about some real stuff, kind of like this podcast.
Yeah, right.
And you realize everyone has issues, man.
Yep.
Everyone's going through stuff. So it's just a great way to like just to be truthful and honest with other brothers. And so the leader of it, this guy, he said, he gave us an assignment. He said, I want you to go back through your life and see a timeline of when God was with you. And so I went through that, and it was like an assignment, and we had to come back and present it. So I came back and presented this story to him. It was the first time I told this story since it happened. No one knew about this. So that's why I'm...
Nobody knew about this at all?
No, bro.
Wow.
I did not tell anybody. So...
Holy cow.
So I'm so the last Sunday night, we're at the Live nightclub in Fontainebleau, and
I've never been to Miami, so
bro,
I want to.
This is 2013 when Lil Wayne was like the man.
Right.
We were at a table right next to Lil Wayne, like I mean, just like having more fun than you could ever imagine. Like it was just, I thought it was so cool, and I think I tried to talk to Lil Wayne, but he was like, "Beat it, nerd." Like, who are you? But just like total like craziness, and next thing you know, it's the morning. It's I still haven't slept in 3 days, and I have to freaking catch a flight to Arizona and get back home. So I go in my cab, get a cab, and I said, "Hey, can you take me to the hotel, get my stuff so I can go to the airport?" He's like, "Yeah." So I tipped him. He's waiting for me. Get my stuff going, and then he starts driving me to the airport. In the airport, all of a sudden, man, I feel my heart is like pounding, dude. Like like just it's gonna fall out of my chest. Like and I start screaming on top of my lungs, I'm dying, I'm effing dying, oh, I'm gonna die. What? Stop this cab. So he's like, what? He's freaking out. I was like a foreigner. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? He's freaking out. So he stops the cab in the middle of this busy road. I jump out and I lay it on the ground, and I feel cars just going by me, boom, 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 and I'm like blacking out, going in and out of consciousness, and I go, and then I just said, oh, I had like a sense of calm, like I'm gonna die, I'm dying right now, like I'm having a heart attack, I'm gonna die, and then and mind you, I hated God, I blamed him for my dad dying, I didn't even think about God, but I remember saying this, dude, and I didn't even think about this until I had this assignment to do this. I remember saying, God, if you're real, will you not let me die? I don't want to die right now. Like, don't let me die.
Yeah.
And then I said, I promise I'll start being a good guy. I'll stop partying. I'll stop doing this. I'll start going to church with a joke. You know, like, I just promise I'll do all this stuff.
Right.
Just don't let me die. Next thing I know, I kind of remember being in the ambulance. I kind of remember. And then I remember waking up, and I'm at a hospital. I have all these tubes on my arms, like all this stuff. And the nurse is like, oh, crazy night, huh? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, where the heck were you going? I go, well, I was on the way to the airport to fly back to Arizona. She goes, oh, my goodness. She goes, if you would have got on that airplane and this happened, you'd be dead. You'd be dead. Like,
wow.
And she goes, do you know who that cab driver was? I go, no. And he goes, he saved your life. He was your angel, basically. He put his cab behind you because you were in the middle of the road. He had to like back up behind you.
Oh, my God.
Put his blinkers on a busy highway in the middle of the day on a freaking...
Oh, my goodness.
And wait for the ambulance to come get me. So I get better. I obviously missed my flight. You know, I fly back home. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday or Wednesday. Guess what I did that Friday night?
Partied.
Went out in Old Town and partied. I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Wow.
And obviously God saved my life, and He loved me that much to save my life. He did it. I'm giving Him the glory and the credit now.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, man. And
you know what's crazy though? Okay, Trish.
Okay, so you haven't really talked about your mom. So as a mother, right, watching this, obviously she went through hell with your dad. Did she have any clue, like how reckless you were being?
Well, you know, first of all, my mom is the best. I love her so much. Like I had this stuff thing, you know, well, why she treated me certain ways and stuff, because, you know, she grew up in a way, you know, with Jewish parents and grandparents that were just like very fear-based. Everything was fear-based. Yeah. So I was led with a lot of fear. And so I did this, but now I like realize she was going through hell with my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, she went through absolute hell with my dad and my brothers. Like, you know, unfortunately my brothers were old enough to kind of be involved older with my dad. So my dad influenced him badly and stuff. And, so she went through hell, and, you know, when I was going through it, she knew, but she would pray. And my mama was a praying mama, and she would pray, and, you know, I thank her so much for getting me out of that. And, you know, that's why I talk to my mom every day. We play golf like a couple of days as much as possible. Yeah. Just hang out. Like, yeah, she went through a lot, and
you know what's crazy? Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. No. I'm going to say this. Like, obviously, I didn't know this story. And I didn't know that your dad had passed away either. But like, you were not really that big of a partier. Like, you did, obviously. But like, dude, this is like shocking stories like that I'm hearing right now.
Undercover,
like,
bro.
You are an undercover
assassin, bro.
Dude,
you have no idea, bro.
Like,
you have no idea.
You know, I know you had like a long time in the Old Town scene and stuff, you know, before and after me, but like, I do remember the stories of like you buying tables though, and then like nobody pitching in and hearing those stories. And
I would get tables at multiple nightclubs.
Yeah, and but that's just crazy though. I think like what's cool is that, you know, I tease you a little bit about like, you know, the praying and all that sort of stuff. Like I can't remember what the text I said to you.
Yeah.
But it was joking. But like, obviously, I'm happy for you, and it's gone this direction for you because, you know, like I did get worried about you too, and not the partying as much as just like your life. Like I was just like, dude, it sucks. Like I hate to see my friends like not like succeeding and kind of just being lost. Yeah. And you tail off, and I wouldn't hear from you, and then you tail off, and you come back in, and you tail off, and you come back in. And then when you said, hey, you know, I found God, and you know, and you were just kind of telling me a little bit. That made a ton of sense to me. Yeah. Right? I was like, okay, this is the guy this makes sense for someone like Chey, who would find that and take it and roll with it, and who needed it.
Absolutely.
And it's it's cool to hear the real reasons.
Yeah.
Not just because your business sucked and you weren't doing good and you had a shitty marriage and all that sort of stuff. Like, these are deep, dark things that none of your real friend group knew.
No, I hid it from everybody.
And so this is freaking nuts, actually.
Yeah, and I'm glad I got to share this with man. Because this is good stuff. And
it's super. It's awesome.
And it's what's crazy about it is the truth. Like, so again, going back to like the self-help books, those helped me out a lot. But now I read the Bible every single day, and I'm learning things, bro, that like, I know this, I've heard this before, and I've learned that those books kind of take it from the Bible and turn it into their own words and sell it, which is a beautiful thing because you got the word without knowing it. And like, I used to hear everything happens for a reason. People say that everything happens for a reason. Just be cool, and you hear that, but it never really made sense. And then I'm reading the Bible in Romans. It says, all things work together for your good, for those who love the Lord and are called to His purpose. And that hit me so hard because it's like, okay, my dad dying, it sucks. Like, it's not good. It's not a good thing, but like, I'm going to use it for good to share my story and to share. I've shared that story with people who have a father and never looked at at God as like a dad, as a father figure.
Yeah.
Like, He's your heavenly Father. So that little thing, I help people see that. So it's just changed my heart, my mind, everything, bro. And
I don't want to like bypass that. It's amazing. It's awesome. So how like quickly did you see like the turn of like, okay, things are falling into place now for me. Like business is starting to pick up. Like my personal life's starting to get better. My golf game's starting to get better.
Yeah. Two handicap now, baby.
Oh, nice. But because you were in it, like you said, your business was not good.
No.
And then how quickly, like when you started like really getting going to church and stuff, did things change?
Pretty much immediately, bro.
Really?
And it it's in the Bible too about like tithing. Like that's I never even understood what that meant, what that was. And it's like one of the only things in the Bible that says you can test God on. If you give to the church, like God's going to provide for you abundantly. He's going to provide your they say it Impact all the time. Provide your needs, not your greeds, and He's going to just bless you with abundance. And so like the new Impact Church, I gave a huge donation, like 5-figure stuff that I never would have ever thought about giving a church or that kind of money. And I tithe 10% of my gross commission. Like every time I get a big commission check, my gross 10% goes straight to Impact Church. Like,
jeez, how does that happen? They just like pull from your bank account?
I send it direct on my app on the phone.
What?
I just send it, and I give it with joy, bro. I give it like,
oh, dude, I bet.
I give it like I'm thanking God that I have a chance to give this much money, because God provided that check, that client, that stuff. And when you give God glory, man, and give Him credit, and that's why I always say God is good, and like I'm not ashamed to say it, bro, because it's true. In my life and in everyone's life, like God loves us all, man. He loves everybody. And that's one thing I'm learning about myself too. Is like I used to, they call it false idols in the Bible. Money was my false idol. If I cared more about money than anything else, I put money above anything else. And if you had money, I thought you were way more amazing than anyone else, because I worshipped you like you're an awesome person, and it's basically what you could do for me kind of thing. And now I'm trying to learn to love everybody, everyone.
You thought it was cool because the guy who was a GM at the Standard, and you're going to go to
and
Art Basel and Basil. Yeah, I mean, I get it. We all do. I think that's normal cultural stuff that we all go through, but it's cool. You eventually just go do like those sweet suits that we used to buy, and shout out to Peter, we still love you. But that we used to wear all the time, get all fancy up and stuff. It's like pulling teeth to get me to find a jacket nowadays. You know what I mean? And the priorities of going out, and doing all those fancy stuff. It's different. But
can I ask a rapid fire question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
don't ask what his favorite book is, though.
That's what I was about to say. Aside from the Bible, other than the Bible, what is your favorite book, or is there a mentor out there, a particular author?
So a book is called Purpose Driven Life, and it's by Pastor Rick Warren, and he was actually the mentor of Pastor Travis at Impact Church. And he wrote this book, and the first line in the book, it says, "It's not about you." That hit me so hard. It's not about you. What's your purpose in life? And when you take yourself out of it and humble yourself and realize that your purpose is not about you, it's about giving God glory, giving Him credit, and loving people. That's my, it's kind of a workbook in a sense. And one of the days, it's like truly ask God what your purpose is. And I was in the shower, bro, and I started praying, And I kind of felt it was just to love people, make people feel good about themselves, and
You've always been that way, though.
I've always had a big heart, man. God has
always had a big heart.
God has blessed me with a big heart, and like that's one thing I love about myself is I've always had a huge heart, and it was just.
I mean, the question used to come always about, like, how does Chey get so much business? Because you didn't have a great system. You weren't, like, a process guy. Like, it's just, like, it's because people just liked you. Like a couple walked in, and the guy liked him, and the woman liked him. And the guy wasn't like, okay, this is, like, a douchebag realtor.
No, absolutely.
It's like he wants to be your friend, and the wife thinks you're a sweetheart, right?
Absolutely.
That's it. That's the formula.
That's the formula. People want to work with people they like. I mean,
exactly.
Like that's real estate, and people want to work with people they like. And thank God I have amazing clients. I've become friends because that's true. Thank you. I mean, that is. It's funny you say that because.
Do you have good systems now, or are you still kind of?
I do have a lot better systems and a lot better routines. Routines.
Good.
That's changed everything. Obviously, I mean, and my daily routine obviously is waking up and thanking God. Say 3 things I'm grateful for, and thanking God for them, and just starting that day of just bringing God into it. And that, so this is going to be my 3rd time going on my own, and I want to kind of
hold
share
on
this
before we do that. What's the time frame right now, Trish? Because I have one last thing I want to say before we wrap it.
It's 3:30.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna wrap it, but so that's okay. I won't get into the.
Well,
Shey's a good golfer too.
Well, let's talk about that.
But golf's a big part of your business too, and I think it's important for us to bring it
huge.
because you're really good at golf and people like playing with you, which helps.
Absolutely, and so I love golf, and it has been a blessing for me in a business. I'm fun to golf with. I golf with a CFO of a big company a while back, a couple weeks ago, and he's a very perfectionist. And so he starts playing bad and hitting bad shots. And I go, bro, you're not good enough to get mad. Like, stop getting mad. And then on the radio, I played Yacht Rock radio. He started listening to Yacht Rock, and he loved it. And he's like, this is awesome. And like changed his whole freaking thing. Like, you're here to have fun, bro. Like, just enjoy it. So, so golf is definitely.
So that's a huge part of your business, and obviously being a member out of DMB or out of DC Ranch doesn't hurt, right?
Absolutely, it's been a blessing. Yeah.
All right, so this is the last thing we're going to talk about, which is big news.
Yes, sir.
So let's drop it. Today is what's the date today? Is it 10th?
Is the 11th.
11th. Ooh. So August 11th, 2021. Chey Castro, what'd you do today?
Today, I officially became part of EXP Realty. Going back on my own, baby.
Going back on
my own, and
left your friend / mentor and Frank Azami in a really super wonderful way, and which is
absolutely
awesome.
Frank and I talked. He absolutely gave me his blessing. I love him to death. He wished me well. He's such a good guy. He's such a good dude. Such a good dude. I love him so much. And so, and it just I'll tell you a quick EXP story. Is back in 2016, Glenn Sanford, the founder and CEO, is actually a billionaire now. He's truly a billionaire.
Yeah.
I met with him and Brian Colhane, and at the time, the stock was just going public or was about to. They offered me 30,000 shares of stock plus an incentive program where if I recruited people over, they would give me stock options. They don't do that anymore, but back then. And so I was thinking about this last night because I was like, should I share this or not? And I did. I actually have the email too. I just showed it to Brian. He's like, yeah. Don't think about that. You're gonna get the press. But all that stock right now, literally, it would be over $10 million. I'd have over $10 million worth of stock just in stock alone right now. If I didn't let fear be the assassin of opportunities, because I will tell you the fear I had in 2016 was EXP is no the brand. I need a nice brand. I need this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to lose all my real estate business. Clients aren't going to work with me because clients are going to work, like you said, people that they like, and they know that they're smart. They know that they're going to work on their behalf. They're going to give honest feedback and be uncomfortable conversations, not be afraid of them.
Yep.
And communicate and just be there, be their ally, be an agent. Like you're a freaking agent, like a sports agent. Like these athletes pay millions of dollars for these sports agents to work on their behalf. Like that's why I think this real estate industry will never go away, because you always have a need for that. So I'm going over my fears, and I go into EXP, and their rev share model, like that is the what really just did it for me. Like,
Well, that's why Brian's like the king of not fear, no fear.
No fear.
Because he went over early. And, I mean, he was like the first guy I knew that was over there, and that was probably, 13? Or
2013, yeah. Yeah, I met with him. Actually, I think the same day I met with you for coffee at Coffee Bean, I met with him that same day, and he was telling me about it, and it was just crazy. And I wish I would have went there, but I've always believed in him, and so he's who I'm going to be working, partnering with.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just like I'll just quickly I know you probably know the rev model and all that stuff, but like it's an 80-20 split. It's a $16,000 cap, so when you make 16 and it goes to 100, you're good for the rest. I've already given this year, 6 figures to my broker on my split, so. That split is everything. And so, EXP is so brilliant because that 20%, so 80-20, the 20% percentage goes to EXP, and then the rest of the percentage goes to your upline. And so you literally revenue share. You're sharing into the revenue of the commissions. So I bring 5 people over, which I think I can do pretty easily. It's going to be hard work, but I can be. Yeah. And this is a 5x5. If I bring 5 people over, and each of those 5 people bring 5 people. So that'll take time, maybe a year, maybe less. But, I'm going to, anyone I bring over, I'm going to work my butt off to help them. I'm going to partner with them to bring other people on. Yep. So if those 5 people bring 5 people, and that happens, I'd make $100,000 off of them if they each hit their cap, which is $16,000, which is $2.5 million in sales. That's not a lot. So if an agent can sell $2.5 million in a year, and that year I'd make 6 figures just on that. I mean, that right there, that's a lot of money. Yeah. I mean, and it's
a good pension.
It's a good, residual income and to grow it. And, I just want to, if I can just say this in here, if anyone's listening as a realtor, you're producing, you have a book of business, you have buyers, you have sellers, and you're thinking about, just let me talk to you. Let me take you to lunch. Let me take you coffee. Let me take you golfing at DC Ranch. I would love to take you out golfing and just talk to you about it. And if you're a new agent or thinking about becoming a realtor, I've had a lot of experience. In my 15 years till now, I've worked with Andrew Bloom for 2 years. I worked with Walt Danley for 2 years, and then Frank Azami also 7 years. So I have great experience working with some amazing agents.
Some big ballers.
Big ballers. And I've learned something from each of them. They're all just incredible at what they do. And I've just been so blessed to have that. 2 years is a long time to spend with somebody to learn what they do. And so I'm just going to implement all of that. So,
well, I think it's a good time for you because it's like you said, you're on this new journey, new path, and this is something you've never done. You've never had anybody underneath you. You've never had a team, which is really what you should be having now, right? You should have people underneath you, then that kind of work like the Frank Azami, now the Chey Castro team, and you really have people. It's never really happened. So it's a good time for you to give it a shot.
Absolutely.
Your energy's there.
Energy's there, and I'm gonna. So can I tell you what my logo is gonna be? I was thinking about this. Sure. So my dad, when he was very successful, had his own accounting firm, and his name is Gaston Castro. So it was a little G with a big C around it. So a big C and then a little G inside of it. So I'm gonna do Chey Castro Group. I'm gonna do a big C, a C below it, and then a little G in it. So kind of the exact same logo as my dad, and that's going to be a character of my dad. And then,
dude, that's great, man.
Thank you,
full
man.
circle,
full circle, and absolutely. And
I can tell that I for everybody that we were going to do this 3 weeks ago, but he's been just super he agonizes over things because he cares, right? Yeah. So he does not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. You want to make sure he's doing making the right decision.
Take the high road.
So he walked in the day, and I was like, well, I guess we won't talk about. I said, well, my sister said he wanted to wait till he went over to EXP, and I was like, he's never going there. He goes, well, actually, I just did today.
Game time.
I was like, okay, never mind.
And like I said, this will be my 3rd time kind of doing my own thing. Yeah. And the difference is because I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, you're gonna."
Your mindset's different now.
Mindset's and I have God with me, bro. I have a Bible scripture that I read every single morning. It's on my mirror. Do you mind if I say it? It's Ephesians 3:20, and it says, "Now to him who's able," I'm talking about God. Now to him who's able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is work within us. To him be the glory in church in Christ Jesus for all generations, forever and ever. Amen. Read that every morning, bro. And
you haven't lost your memory from all that partying.
Thank you for letting me share that. I wasn't going to do that. So.
Hey, it's all good, man. Yeah. This is what it's about, being real and raw. Yeah. I guess this is the most real and raw we've gotten yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some good stuff, but this is depth of nobody's opened up as well, and this is why we're doing this. So basically, you did exactly what we were hoping you would do. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. And can I tell you, like, I love you, bro. I've known you long time, man. We've been through a lot, and so like I appreciate you just giving me this opportunity to,
absolutely
talk about this. And like, yeah, it's good. It feels good to just get real with, that's what life's all about, right?
Hey,
like,
bro, now you're gonna go on a circuit, like podcast circuit. Everybody's gonna want to shake. If we can get some people to listen to our podcast,
dude,
and hear you, then you can maybe get on some other podcasts. But
let's make it happen.
Are you gonna write a book someday? You think? Like this
Wow,
sounds like this sounds like a
okay,
book
we just opened up
ready
another
to be
hour.
written.
No, can I tell you? Thank you for saying that, because I've been praying about that, and I've actually. So one of my friends, he's a PhD, very smart, but he's a non-believer. Sometimes people that are so smart and have their PhDs and very strong education, they're the strongest non-believers, and
because they're overthinkers.
And I had this deep conversation with him, and I talked about love and how God is love, and all in the Bible what love is. Love is kind and forgiving and everything. And he's read all these books, and he's quoting all these amazing authors, and then he looks at me, he's like, "We should write a book together." And like he said that literally just a couple days ago, and
cool.
and I've been praying about that and thinking about that, so it's on my heart, and I think I have a great testimony and story to share that I think hopefully will resonate with people.
It'd be cool too, hearing it from like the other side too. Like you're the two of you together. One guy's that's like over here, and the other guy's that's over here.
Yeah.
And different perspectives of a lot of the things that you guys got going on. But I don't even know that's the direction. But it sounds cool to me.
Thank you, because I'll tell you, science and the Bible should help each other instead of being against each other. Like
you learned that at CCB.
I learned that a lot of places.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Thanks again, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah,
It went exactly how I kind of hope it would, and a little deeper than I even thought that was even there. So, which is even cooler. So again, thank you VIP Mortgage for allowing us to have this room. Thanks Trey, your money over there. I saw you thinking a lot, and obviously thank you Trisha for staying on Chey and producing the show for us. Everybody, the only way we can keep doing this is we need everybody to go on to our social media and YouTube. Go on YouTube, like and subscribe, ring the bell. I've gotten good at that one. Okay. Go on Instagram, go on Facebook and LinkedIn. And comment, share, please, like everything. This is going to be a really good one, I think, for people to want to listen to see how deep we actually can get on this show. Yeah. And it's cool for everybody that knows Chey and not that anybody doesn't like you, but like him or love him or whatever. You don't know this stuff, so if you're wondering why he got so into church and being so godly and why his business has gone better and everything in his life seems to be better, this is the one you really need to check out. So please go on to Real Talk with Ryan Madrid, and we're on all the podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and check us out. Chey, please also promote us today.
Absolutely.
Promote us and keep it going. And I think this is going to be good, because this is going to be a testimony for you with like sharing with all your friends from church and your small group and all that sort of stuff. So,
do you have a YouTube channel, Chey?
I do not.
You should get one.
Yeah.
No. Well, it's part of your next process at EXP.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. I mean, like, there's so many opportunities that I have, been fear not let me do this, and I'll say this: I couldn't have shared that story about my dad if I didn't forgive him. That's another thing I had to do. And it was a praying thing. It was God. My pastor said, you got to forgive him. God's forgiven you for what you've done, Chey. Yeah. Who are you not to forgive your father? So I literally had to forgive my father. And once I did that, I couldn't mention my dad's name without breaking down and crying. And now I can share that. And now I have this freedom to do that. Yeah. There you go.
I think it can have an impact on everybody who's kind of struggling with something. So I think it's going to make every single person think. That's for sure. So thanks again. And check it out. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Real Talk is brought to you by Escrow, the letter S, Grow. Disorganization and constant communication are huge problems in the real estate journey. And it's an issue that I think most real estate agents, well, at least some real estate agents, struggle with in their CRM systems. There's a lot of options out there, and a lot of people have different ones. And when I'm speaking with the agents that we work with, or that are our referral partners, the big hurdle is the actual creation of the templates and actually creating the automation that goes out for milestones. So escrow kind of takes all that away. So everything's pre-written for you. You have multiple choices to go from, to choose from, I'm sorry. So if you're looking for a CRM system that is super easy to use and will eliminate a lot of the confusion and the heavy lifting up front, go to escrow.com, the letter S, grow.com.
VIP Mortgage Incorporated does business in accordance with the Federal Fair Lending Laws, NMLS ID 145502. For state-specific licensing, please visit www.vipmtginc.com/national-licenses/. VIP is not acting on behalf of or at the direction of the FHA, HUD, or the federal government. VIP is an equal housing lender.